no way have I no such language. Don't you start with me. Don't you start with me such language. I can say whatever the hell I want. Not really to the public. If it did turn itself back on that, I didn't mean that. There we go. Now we're good. Like I didn't mean that public. I can't say what I want. I didn't mean that. For all the people of cancel culture, I didn't mean that. I was just playing. I was just playing.
The psych.
Don't you? I'm not saying psych. That's him.
Speaking of, have you ever seen the TV show Psych?
Um, is that with the dude who pretends to be psychic?
Yep.
And yeah, I've
Mm-hmm.
bits and pieces, bits and pieces. I haven't seen as much as I should have seen.
Okay, so you're not that big of a fan.
No, I mean I like it. I like the concept of it, but
Uh,
I know,
uh,
I like,
I love me some Psych, boy.
I believe it. I
There's some
believe it.
episodes that are so damn funny.
I believe. I believe it. I mean, it's not. I'm like. It's. I'm not saying it's a bad show. It's a great show.
Yeah.
It's an amazing show, but just not my
This is
cup of
not
tea.
one. Yeah, this is not one that you've dug your heels into.
Not yet. Maybe now that I'm older and I can watch it again, I'll probably. I'll probably get into it just to see. My show back in the
Yeah.
day, because it was the same. Remember, this was the same network. Was Burn Notice. Burn Notice. That was
Oh,
my
yeah.
show. I loved. I always said if they would have done an anime version of that, it would hit. It would hit. A retired.
You know what? I'm sorry. That would be a good question. What live TV shows would make the best animes?
Um, let's see.
I never
Burn-
would have thought about Burn Notice being one of them.
I mean, think about it. A spy who gets burned by the company. He's trying to find his way back in, and all of his enemies are coming at him at once while he's trying to investigate. His only friends who help him out is an ex, his best friend who's an informant to the FBI, and his mom.
I might could see it.
Like, and every other episode he's like doing random, and then during each episode he's like he's teaching you how spies would do certain things. Like, hey, you need to do a homemade bomb. This is what you can do. Oh, you wanna you wanna find out if you're being spied on. Here's how you can do it. Oh, you wanna fake this. Here's how you do it. This is how you really lose a tail. This is how, like, man, it was a deep show. I loved it.
So in today's world where people have shorter attention spans, you think that that would still do very well? Because that sounds like that is something that would be a slower paced show, kind of like a Death Note. It wouldn't be like Spy Family to where it's. I guess they kind of have a good mix of like high octane type of action, and then also just like story based, slow pacing, story. And so that with that specific story with Burn Notice, do you think that that would do well in this climate of new anime watchers?
I think it would. Only because even though it is a slow burn, I agree. It is a slow burn. The thing about, even though it is a slow burn, the story would be, if you sprinkled in the action. Like, it's a slow burn, but something does happen almost every episode. There's something interesting that happens. So it's not like Death Note where, like, one day he's just solving a crime. It's most like, okay, he's solving a crime, but he has to figure out a way to put a gun. He took a firing pin out. Okay, I got to put the firing pin back in while I'm in the middle of getting shot at. While I got to protect this dude, and my car's across the way. Like, it's still like explosive things happening most every episode. Like, there's very few episodes where nothing pops off. I mean, it's a spy thriller. Something's
Yeah.
gonna pop off.
Yeah. Something. It's not a TV show, but a movie series that I do really good as anime is probably the Bourne movies. I feel like the Bourne movies would have like if you got the right animators, like the animators that did like the first like episode of Ninja Kamui. Could you imagine that type of choreographed action in a Bourne anime series?
That would be a good one.
That would
I
be
would
insane.
I would definitely like it.
Yeah. That I feel like that would be a good one. I mean obviously you could say Game of Thrones. Um I feel like that's kind of an obvious
That's
pick.
kind of like an obvious pick. That's kind of been done a lot. What's another good live action?
Hmm.
Like, what's a good
Not
live action
uh, that's a
that
good
would be?
question. Not the Sopranos. I feel like that's too slow burn. Even though that is still
Yeah,
a good uh
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I mean this is kind of a question that came up on the spot.
Like, but no, like even so, like you have to realize, like on the other side, you still have to realize, like it's how can I say this? It's still because I don't want to say this wrong. It is still a it's still a question of we don't you want to pick the right show, but you also don't want to pick a show in a genre where it's been done so often. It's no
True.
point of doing it again. Like Game of Thrones, like we kind of have a lot of versions of Game of Thrones in the
We
anime
do a
world,
whole lot of them.
so you don't really. But the reason why I said Burn Notice is because we only kind of have a show like it in Spy Family. So Spy
Hmm.
Family proved it can do really well. But now you don't have the joking psychic family version. You only are focusing on the action paced thing of the spy. And you always
Hmm.
see an anime, let's be honest, you always see a spy mission. You've never seen a real burned spy trying to get back in and find out what's going on. You don't really
Yeah.
see it. So it's like it was a very interesting concept on the live action to see the anime where we don't have to worry about budget and getting people and all this other stuff. It's like you get a little more free reign. Now he can travel the world and search out more stuff. He can do more stuff without having to worry about budget, actors, passports, and all that other crap. Um, I'm
What
trying to
about you ever seen the TV show From?
no.
Uh, I forget what the dude's name is. You have you seen the TV show Lost?
Yeah, seen Lost. Seen Lost.
Okay, so the dude that plays Michael, which is Walt's dad, the black dude. You remember who I'm talking about? Damn, what else is he in? He's in a few other things, but either way, he's the main character in
Mm-hmm.
that show From, and it basically has to do with this small town that is base. I think it's invisible on the map, and so you don't know you're headed there not until you get there, and then everybody that gets there, they get like locked in this like dome or whatever, and they can't get out. So even if they try to escape, they just go around in circles and end up back in town. But with this thing in town or with this town, there are these creatures that come out at night and they show themselves as people that you love that have died in the past. So if you had like your wife or your husband or your kid die or whatever, then these things would come out and act. They would have like their memories, they would have their personality, their face, everything. And they would say stuff to you being like, "Hey, Daddy, I miss you. Can I just please come in just for a couple minutes?" And once they get in, they kill everybody that's inside, and then those people that are killed inside turn into those things that come out at night, and then form themselves into the loved ones of people that you know in real life. And so the story is basically just people trying to find ways to get out of this dome. And it's like, I think only one person has done this successfully. And they ended up coming back by accident. I don't know how. I don't know if it was another portal. I don't know if it was another connection or whatever. But these things is like it's like a psychological horror TV series. It is legitimately one of the best shows I've ever watched in my life. It is one of the most underrated shows I've ever watched in my life. but the concept and the twist and everything about it is so well done. It is a show that I recommend everybody to watch. That's one. Two, there's a TV show called Black Sails. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah, of course, I've heard of Black Sail. That's the pirate show from Stars.
Yes, that one is the most underrated show I've ever
It
watched.
is
I
underrated.
watched I watched that one for the first time. I think I watched like the first like 3 episodes like 6 years ago, and it felt kind of low budget, so I didn't continue watching it. And so I tried to watch it again last year, and I think I binge watched the entire thing. I said I was gonna at least through the first season, and I did, and I binge watched all of it for like I think in less than a month. And that's like 5 or 6 seasons, but every single season literally gets better. It had the perfect, I wouldn't say the perfect beginning, but it had damn near the perfect beginning, the perfect middle, and the perfect ending. And that is something that is almost, it seems is almost impossible to achieve even a good ending. Not even just perfect. Most endings suck, and I don't understand why. Why do endings suck in so many TV series, especially long running ones like that? Like, I feel like if it's longer than like 2 seasons, if it's longer than 2 seasons, maybe three, you almost have no faith that they're gonna do the ending with justice. And almost, I don't know how many actual like story based series I can actually think of that actually have the perfect ending besides
No,
maybe Small. I think Smallville had a perfect ending. I feel like Clark and Lois or whatever they had a perfect ending.
that
Black
was a perfect
Sails had a
ending.
perfect ending. Lost. I know a lot of people did not like Lost ending, and I understand why, just because it was a little confusing, especially when it first came out. But I felt like Lost had a perfect ending. But that is just me, just my personal opinion. I know
Mm-hmm.
most people don't think that. But like I said, it seems like it's a lost art. I don't know if they just run out of ideas. I know you can't find an ending that is going to please everybody, but I feel like more. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to find a ending that will please mostly everybody, the majority, and it seems to be a thing that is impossible to do. Why do
You
shows not
can't
have
please
good endings?
everybody. It's the same thing like manga shows. Like you can even anime. You can't. Even if you do what the manga says, they'll still find like the anime watch. Like I don't like the way they did that, and the manga watchers are like, the manga readers are like, if you read the manga, it makes sense. It's just they've made adjustments for the anime that you won't quite like.
But why is it a thing though? Why is it such a regular thing for endings to suck? Like even with Attack on Titans, the ending sucked. I mean, me personally, I didn't enjoy the ending. I know there are some people, but I feel like the majority of people that watched it did not like the ending.
It's the same reason why Naruto's ending. I won't say ending. It didn't suck, but it was so lackluster because
Which ending though? They basically had two.
the 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 Kaguya thrown in ending.
Okay, so the first ending, not
Yes,
the actual ending, is him getting married.
yeah, I'm talking about the actual ending from like throwing her in there. It
Yeah.
was you can understand. It's like they said. Certain shows you can tell where the writer either wants to continue on or he has a certain plan, and the editors don't like it. Like think about what happened with Dragon Ball Z and the Cell Saga. Cell wasn't supposed to be the big bad. It was first. It was supposed to be the androids. But they didn't like Doctor Gero and how he looked, so he made 17 and 18. He didn't like that they didn't like that he was a teenager and it wasn't believable. So then they made Cell, and they didn't like the way Cell looked, so they made him keep revising Cell. And I mean, we got good content, we got decent content out of it, but it was editors. A lot of things happen with producers and editors. Everyone has their opinion. Everyone has that what's the name that focus groups and well this didn't test well. So let let's be honest. In certain things when it comes to media, science has no place for it. It
Hmm.
doesn't. You can focus groups say this. Okay, you picked a small group of people to think that that's going to represent the whole. How many of those same focus groups uh, they said it was going to test bad, and then when they release it and they use the alternate ending, the rest of the world goes, why didn't you use the alternate ending? That was way better. It made more sense. Well, we didn't like the way it tested. Just release it the way it's supposed to be 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, the original ending that was created maps out. It
Hmm.
closes the plot holes. This new ending that you're pushing out normally leaves a lot of plot holes, mainly because they're trying to come up with something on the fly instead of the stuff that easily wrapped everything up.
Yeah, and then I still don't understand how they fucked up the ending to Game of Thrones. I know that is something that we're never gonna let die, but when they could have gone any other route than what they did, any other route, and it would have been significantly better than what they did. Significantly, the White Walker should have won. I'm gonna stand on that. The ending should have been the White Walkers marching into King's Landing, killing everybody, and then the Night King sitting on an iced out throne with everything should have been covered in ice. With two of the dragons flying in the sky, blowing blue flames everywhere. That's the way it should have been. The White Walkers won. It would have been fitting because Game of Thrones is a show to where things are unpredictable and we don't know happiness. We don't know what it means to be happy. We're not supposed to know. And so this would have been the perfect ending for a show like Game of Thrones. Everybody, all your loved one dies because we would have never expected that. We expected some people to die, and that didn't really fucking happen. Everybody somehow fucking survived that war, which is stupid. But
Well, not everybody.
we will.
Jorah didn't survive.
Okay, well, him and Leon, the little girl that was the queen, um,
Yeah, she didn't survive. A couple of people did die.
and
None of the
Theon,
main,
but
yeah, none of only one who really, besides Theon, who's like a main person in it. Most
yeah.
of the main people survived. It was just like, come on, like but you can't. But killing them off would like left a lot of plot holes. Like you kind of need them. If it's story driven, like kind of Game of Thrones kind of was. You kind of need the story to go on. So you can't kill Jon. You can't kill Daenerys. What's it? The only one you let's be honest, the only one you could truthfully kind of kill out of the main characters would have been Sansa.
I think killing John would have been a great idea because nobody would have expected that shit.
No one would have expected it, but then the story would have been kind of put to a halt because it's kind of Jon's story.
How's it John's story?
It's if you really look at Game of Thrones, it's mostly Jon and Daenerys' story. And
Right.
not if you mix the story, if you take him out,
It would have been the same as Danny dying, which she did.
but who's gonna kill her?
I
You
think it
had,
could have been the White Walkers.
but if you kill Jon, then you have to kill Daenerys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody should have died. Everybody. In fact, I think the Night King he should have turned Daenerys' best dragon into a White Walker, whatever they're called, and gotten that dragon to
So
kill
you,
Daenerys.
so you, so you would have preferred the tragic ending.
Yes, 100%. I wanted everybody to die in the most horrific and terrible ways, and wanted the Night King to win. It should have been. It should have been like Thanos doing the snap, and then just looking out into the horizon while half of our favorite characters died. That would have been the perfect ending to the Avengers series. I'm sorry. I'll say that over and over again. I don't like all these happy endings. I don't, especially for a show like Game of Thrones, to where it's not a happy show.
Uh, well, I understand why you wouldn't like it, but for certain things to get pushed on, you have to have that.
Why do we
I
need
want
things
to
to
say
get pushed on?
happy for the story to carry on because you can't have something like even Avengers like you can't have a story entire series based around this group and you haven't really. Let's be honest, they didn't really set up any other groups to take over. Because let's see, you only had Tony, which you would have had to stretch out Tony's story more. You had Thor. You really just had the Avengers, the main Avengers left. All the other heroes were gone, so you would have had to stretch out the Avengers storyline even longer.
But just imagine if they would have ended it at Endgame. That was Endgame, right?
I was in game.
Imagine if they ended it
Or
at
Infinity
Endgame.
War. That was Infinity War.
Okay. Well, imagine they ended it there, and even today, if they would have ended it that way, everybody would still be talking about it. Like that would be the most controversial ending in all of cinema, all of it.
It would be controversial, but you gotta, like I said, it's the controversy. You gotta compare your controversy versus your long drawn story talk. Because if you draw it out for too long, if you go for the shock value, yeah, it's talked about for a long time, but a lot of the rest of the storylines for future stories are intertwined with those characters. So to toss them out because of shock value, now you can't use them. One, you can't use them ever again. Two, now a lot of the stuff that they left behind are gonna feel so Deus Machina that it's pointless. Like,
I guess. But
like I understand killing Tony. Killing Tony Stark was his perfect redemption arc. Now with his death, you understand when certain things pop up because they left a power vacuum in the tech world. So when certain things,
yeah,
when Tony left this and he did this, okay, I understand why Tony would do this, this, and this during this time period. If you only leave the Avengers, if you leave the Avengers and you would have had to kill the Avengers. You had to kill them. To have the snap and go halfway and then suspect the Avengers would never try to undo it would have been out of character for them. That wouldn't have been their character to not undo the mistake.
I understand, but they shouldn't have had the opportunity. Not necessarily opportunity. They should have had no way to undo this because I mean, if you can go back in time like that to make things just not happen of something that of that magnitude just not happen, then is there any limit on how? I mean, I know that Doctor Strange said once you mess with the past or whatever, then it starts to mess with the future and blah 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 blah. But this kind of opens up the door to every single possibility. Like if anything goes wrong, then they know that they can just go back in time to undo all the
Well,
wrongs again.
you got to think about it. They didn't. You had to remember the way they went about it. It wasn't the time travel itself didn't undo it. The time travel was to get the stones. Using the glove, using the gauntlet again is what the Infinity Stones is what undid it. That's what undid it. So they didn't undo, they didn't rewrite time. They went back to the present with the stones that they had because they didn't have them anymore and just brought everybody back to life. And now when everyone brought back to undoing that initial thing, now that that's done, it it fixed it, but it didn't completely fix it.
Yeah.
Because you saw the repercussions of it. Like they tried to go back in time thinking what happened. Nebula snuck through the cracks. You saw the downside of it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but okay. So what about with Game of Thrones? If just because I'm sure that you probably didn't like the ending of Game of Thrones, what do you think that they could have done better for the ending of Game of Thrones that would have been a fitting ending for a show like Game of Thrones, not just a fitting ending for everybody?
They
Because
would have had to, in order for that to work. I understand the storyline they were going for, making her the Mad Queen. I get it,
mhm,
but they would have had to add another season for that story because that was a storyline they got. The problem with that ending is they started the storyline and cut it within 2 episodes.
yeah,
That's a drawn out storyline. So if they would have extended it, probably did that as a cliffhanger, like she turned into like she burnt down the city and then added the rest of the season on, and that final season would have been a wrap up season, like a real wrap up season. Like okay, she's turned into the Mad Queen as they're trying to recover. She's just killing people left and right. She's show the paranoia build up. Show how she's using Drogo to just take out all of her enemies left and right. Like show that like have her turn on a Dothraki at one point and Like I don't really trust that you're gonna stick by me, or like get more people on John's side and have John at during that time period like, hey, you need to calm down. You need to like draw it out.
Yeah.
Like I think that if they would have made that the storyline and end it, and then the final episode when like the city's about to revolt, and then finally like have like the Council of Elrond type thing where you have Jamie, John, Sansa, basically the same thing from before. At the end of it, all of them gather up and look at John like, bro. And matter of fact, have it be his youngest sister tell him like, hey, either you can take her out or I can take her out. But she is, and you got to do it. She's gone. And then that'd be that good moment for him and Jamie to have that talk. Like, you got to understand what's about to happen. Him being a queen slayer or king slayer, however you want to say it, is going to have its ramifications. So just know what you're doing is going to have this effect on you. So, like I would like to say, I think that would have done it better. But they had no, and they were also trying to give. What I think people don't realize about Game of Thrones is the problem that the production ran into was they went for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were counting on them during those 8 years for George R.R. Martin to finish his story. So with him constantly saying, I'm writing it, they're trying to leave like, okay, we're going by the book, but we're making adjustments. We're trying to leave it open so we can stick faithfully. So at the end, they kind of had to just come up with something because it's like, dude, the author's not giving us anything.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of just gotta wing it, and the only thing we can say is Daenerys is gonna turn into the Mad Queen, and we gotta stop it now. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't hate the route that they took necessarily.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated. I don't know how to. I don't know how to say it. I hated how John reacted to the entire thing. How he just went straight for just killing her.
That's what I'm
After after swearing, swearing loyalty to her and whatever. She had a she had a reason to do what she did. I understand that it was gruesome. She killed all these innocent people, blah 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 blah. But I feel like I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like I feel like he could have done I feel like that was out of his character to just go ahead and just kill her before really trying to like talk to her or try to figure something out to get past this whole thing. But he just went straight for just killing her, and I feel like that was out of his character. And then it made no fucking sense why Drogon just decided to fucking burn the throne. And so I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like I said, I don't necessarily hate the fact that she turned into the Mad Queen and she killed all these people, whatever. That seemed something that was fitting for her story. I just don't like the fact that she died the way she did. It just, I don't know. I don't know why Arya and John cared about the people of King's Landing, honestly. Even if they were just civilians, I don't know why they cared.
Arya, I don't really know. John, he just found out, technically speaking, he's supposed to be the king, even though he's not. He don't want to be the king. He don't want to rule. But
Right.
he's a unwilling leader. No matter where he goes, someone wants to put him in charge. No matter where he goes, they want to put him in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this ending would have worked only because I think the ending would have worked better if instead of just making her the Mad Queen, she started to turn into the Mad Queen, but then the rest of the world found out who John really was.
Also, something about that is why does everybody just take their word for this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bran. Why does everybody just automatically believe what Bran is saying about him being a Targaryen?
because
Like
so
Rand,
so
Sam.
a lot of people have asked me. I'm like, well, you have to see it on. So number one, it's the fact that Bran. They know Bran has his magical ability. Number two, they know Sam Tarly. He is a scepter. He does have access to those journeys. What a lot of people, if you would have told the wildlings and the people of the north that, it would have been believable, mainly because other than Daenerys, before that time period, other than only John, it's only been known that Targaryens can ride dragons.
That's true, but also, as far as we knew, Targaryens all had blonde hair. The Targaryen that was over on the wall, you had Daenerys, you had Daenerys' brother. They all had blonde hair, which Jon did not. It was basically the same thing with the Lannisters and the Baratheons, right? That's why Ned Stark was able to kind of tell that Joffrey was not supposed to be on the throne because he was not truly a Lannister or whatever, or Baratheon, or
Baratheon.
yeah, he wasn't a Baratheon, and his hair was part of the reason when he was reading the book.
The
He was going through the
black
lineage
hair,
and stuff
black.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly, exactly.
it's like I said, that's like his interaction with dragons, and his interaction with dragons is one of the major things that helped out, and his natural ability to lead and command presence and authority really leaned toward it. Now, would people not believe it? Of course, like I said, that could have been the Civil War, and that could have been Sam would have had to bring out the journals. He would have had to prove in it. That could have caused the whole thing because Daenerys didn't. Because Daenerys said the same thing. Why should I believe it? It just so happens the people who agree is your brother and your best friend. And he said the same thing. He goes, I didn't want to believe it, but it kind of makes sense. It kind of did. Like, I never matched with my brothers and sisters. I was like, I don't, like, nothing ever really fit how I was a bastard all of a sudden. And my dad valued loyalty above all. So the one thing he did was cheat on his wife. That made no sense.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I guess so. Honestly, I think it would have if they didn't go the route of the Night King killing everybody and sitting on the Iron Throne. I think it would have been good for Danny to still sit on the Iron Throne, and then them having like an extra episode past that with the conflict of what she did and everything, and then she basically like cast everybody out of King's Landing that goes against her rule, and then that would open up a whole nother potential storyline that they could make a series out of her slowly turning into the Mad Queen and
yeah, that's
getting
what I'm saying.
intoxicated with power.
That would have been, that would have worked. That would have been the thing that sets it off. Like,
Yeah.
the ending of the war turns her into the Mad Queen. Watching her friend get beheaded after just fighting a war to protect humanity.
Mm.
After literally just coming to a truce with everyone else but this one person who's hoping we would die. Yeah, that you can understand why she would turn into the Mad Queen. You can understand
Yeah.
it. So not drawn on that story. Let's be honest, they kind of created a cliffhanger and tried to solve that cliffhanger within what 2 episodes, and it didn't work.
Yeah. Mm.
That it just didn't work. You tried to solve a cliffhanger in 2 episodes. That should have been a series ender.
Mm.
Really, after the White Walkers and after she watched her friends get her head chopped off, that she's about to storm the gates, or when she stormed the gates and was starting to burn everything down, that should have been the end of the season. End the season right there. And now the next season starts with she's starting to turn into the Mad Queen, and or even then she started to turn into the Mad Queen, and for the final part of it, what drove John to turn against her really was she decided she was going to attack the North.
Yeah.
That could have been his reason to kill. Like, hey, they've been your allies. They've always been that way. We can't do this. I can't kill my family for you. Love you to death, but we got to stop it right here. I'm not trying to take the throne from you because that could have been a part of her paranoia. You're just saying it because they want to put you on the throne. Maybe being king of the North wasn't enough. That's why you were trying to stick by me. Whole thing could have spiraled.
Hmm.
because you saw it in her face during the ending to where she was already seeing John as a threat to her reign, even though
Yeah,
John told her, I don't want the throne. You can have it.
yeah,
I don't want it. I just want you. That's it. She didn't care. She didn't believe it. She wanted to attack.
yeah. You see, we came up with this. We came up with these grand endings. These endings that would have been significantly better than what we got just on the fly. It couldn't have been that hard. It could not have been that. And I'm
It,
sure that somebody else has an ending out here that's even better than the ones we've come up with.
I guarantee it, but
And we're not
money is
writers.
but money is money. Some people
I
don't want
guess
to spend
so,
money
but
on it.
I know, but with the ways that we said, that would have produced more money because they would have gotten more episodes and shit out of it.
They could have Game of Thrones probably shouldn't have ended when it did, but they were running out of material and they didn't want to write their own. Probably. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is, I guess. But we kind of just went on a tangent. Did you have a subject for tonight?
Well, I wanted to finish talking about what I was saying earlier, where we have all of these award shows,
Uh-huh.
but there is no like comic, American comic
Oh,
award show.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have like, truthfully, we have American comic sprinkled into so many things, but there's no like like best comic series of the year, or best get comic movie of the year, best superhero movie of the year, best supervillain of the year, or things like that right there. Same thing like, I mean, I think it's time we one got its own award show, and number two, they got their own streaming platform instead of trying to. Well, Warner Brothers has this, and Disney has this one, and Dark Horse isn't. No, I think Dark Horse is kind of split with Warner Brothers, but like everything's spread so far apart. If you consolidated it to one, just like Crunchyroll, or maybe, or even this, do something as simple as this: create the streaming site and only put, I don't know, the first 3 or 4 seasons or 1 or 2 seasons of a certain show on that big streaming platform for all the comic series, and then for the special season or the most recent seasons, you got to go to the other ones. We would hate it, but you would, at least it's consolidated. It could spiral you into the rest. But I know me personally, I don't like doing it, but I get it for free in certain ones. I don't like paying for Disney Plus so I can watch Marvel. Then I got to pay for HBO Max to watch DC, and even DC doesn't have it all, so I got to turn on. So even when I want to watch the updates, I had to go to the CW, and then from the CW, I had to like bouncing all over to watch certain things. It's too much. Everyone's
yeah.
trying to everyone's trying to make money off the same thing. When if you consolidate it, you make more money.
Yeah, one thing that I would love about them having like a dedicated like platform for like comics and stuff like that, and being able to like read the comics is that it would open up to so much. It would open up to such a large character pool that people just do not know about. There are so many characters in DC. There are so many characters in Marvel that the only people that would know about these characters are actual comic readers. And not just that, but even like our beloved characters, like the Hulk is one of my favorite characters. There are so many different versions of the Hulk that it's absolutely insane. So I would love to be able to, because I grew up reading a little bit of comics, but it was like my much younger years to where it was mostly just for the pictures. I wasn't really reading for real. Like I would read
True. I
words
mean, a lot
for
of kids were.
here and there. Yeah, exactly. I would read a little bit of the words, but I really just cared about seeing the pictures and seeing the characters and stuff like that. And so I would love to now have an easier way of going back to reading some of those comics that I grew up reading and getting more lore from it, more details from characters that I enjoy, and then also new characters I don't know anything about. And then also just because I like debating, that would also open up the door for a lot more debates instead of just
Mm-hmm.
debating Naruto and Hunter x Hunter and Trash Piece and all these type of other animes or whatever. And so,
You read the
yeah,
trash
yes,
piece.
yeah, yes, really. And so that would open up the door for so many more so many more debates that we could have, not just on this podcast, but I could just have, just with people in person and stuff like that. And so it would be really nice to have a dedicated site or app or something like that. Just because it would just, I don't know, it would just open the door for a lot more. Another question: do you think the anime verse is vastly, vastly bigger than the superhero verse, like DC and Marvel put together? Do you feel like the anime verse is bigger, or do you think the DC Marvel verse is bigger?
In what way?
Um, I guess you could go with just like, I don't know. I guess books maybe,
I'll
not
say this.
necessarily popularity, because I know that the popularity of Marvel and DC is unmatched except for Pokemon. But I'm talking about, just, I don't know, just the books, I guess, the comics and the mangas, and then also just like, I don't know, I guess that's what I mean, just like the comics and the mangas and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of mangas
I
on
think
these sites.
I'll say it like this. Other than a couple manga, you got to think. Other than a couple, I think when it comes to storylines and continued and longer storylines, American Comics got it. Now, when I say for variety and the impact of, I wouldn't say the impact, the willing to accept variety goes to anime. Comics are very one dimensional, and that's because, let's be honest, as Americans, we don't like change too much. Hence why we can't move on from Batman and Superman and all of that. Be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, the Japanese are kind of the same way, but the only character that they haven't really moved on from was Goku. Other than
Yeah.
that, they're willing to pass the torch. Okay, enough Naruto. Was going. Okay, cool. Naruto ended. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next.
Mhm.
They're starting. They're willing to pass the torch and move on. We have it, and I think this. Like I've had this thought plenty of times. Like we need to start moving on because while Superman is great, this new generation is starting to show us that as
Yeah.
great as Superman is, they want their own.
Yeah.
Because that's why Nightwing hit so hard with us in the '90s. Because now we got our Batman. We don't have to have their Batman. We have Nightwing. We have our Batman. Our Robin grew up, and even though we asked for it, we begged for it. We never got a Nightwing show. Even though if you look at his comics, it's just as interesting as Bruce Wayne's. Just as interesting as Bruce Wayne's Batman. What did they do? They gave us a substitute Nightwing that was still Batman, which Batman Beyond was an amazing show. Never
It
would say it
was.
was the best show. It was an amazing show. But we just got another Batman that still had Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne involved. And even then, we saw who? Barbara and Tim, and that's it.
Yeah, they do just remake the exact same superhero TV shows and movies
Over and
over and
over.
over and over again.
On their side, they give us variety. We got Naruto, and then we had back in the day with Sailor Moon, Gundam, Dragon Ball Z. Really, with the big three.
Yeah.
Your mechs, your stuff for the girls, and your fighter. That was our big three. But even during that big three era, you still watched Zoids. You still watched Yu Yu Hakusho. You still watched when Naruto came. You still watched Naruto. You still watched the new stuff coming out. Even though we had it, we kind of had Batman, Superman. On the DC side, you had Batman, you had Superman, and then you had Justice
You
League.
also had the Flash.
The Flash didn't have his own TV show.
Oh,
Well,
okay, yeah.
rephrase that. He had a live action, but that didn't last long. They didn't really pour the
What
budget into that.
What about the Hulk? Well, you
That's
said,
Marvel. Marvel, they
yeah.
spread it out a little bit better. But even then, they had Iron Man, Spider Man, X Men, Hulk, and Fantastic Four. I think that was really it. And you
Yeah.
gotta think, Hulk didn't last that long.
Mhm.
Iron Man didn't even last that long. Their big three, Fantastic Four lasted for. Their big two was X Men and Spider Man, and they
Yeah,
kept
that's true.
revamping Spider Man. They keep revamping Spider Man.
It's because he prints out money.
Same thing with X Men. They didn't even really give him a new TV show. No, they did. They kept revamping the TV show. They can't revamp it. I mean, again, X Men Evolution, goated. It is goated. I loved X Men Evolution. I will never say a bad thing about that show. It was goated. I love the twist on it. I love the twist on it, making them actual teenagers instead of saying all of them are grown and now they're just figuring it out. Like, how would you react if you had powers in high school? Probably the way they did.
Yeah.
We're not branching out, and that's what Marvel is. Marvel is attempting to do that. They're attempting to do what manga is doing and taking their B-list, lesser-known characters and push them to the forefront, like your Jessica Jones, your Daredevil, your Luke Cage. But I'm about to call him the Karate Kid, but it's Iron Fist, She-Hulk. They're trying to push more people forward. They're doing it in bad ways. For the most
Terrible
part.
ways.
The only one who survived in the hall really is Daredevil.
I don't understand. Why are they doing it in bad ways though? Because all they have to do is just follow the material.
People think they know better, and they want to put their own spin on it.
That shit's so stupid. That's why these shows are failing. Do they not see that? do they like even with Star Wars? Like I remember what's the Lucas? What's his name? Is his name Lucas? The creator of Star Wars? He was having he was having a interview with the new I don't know, she's like the new director or some shit like that of Star Wars or Disney or something like that. And she was basically saying, you know, it was kind of hard because they didn't have enough material to go off of to create these new series and stuff like that. And he says you had like over 70 different books you could have gone off of. And then he said it kind of quickly and then kind of just got off that subject. But it's just like, you would think that after so many fails of trying to use their own mind and own storylines and stuff like that to create these stories and then see them fail over and over again, they would just go back to the source material because that's obviously what made these stories what they are today. And so I don't understand how you can fail making a superhero movie or whatever, not unless you just do terrible casting. But if it's literally just the storyline that people don't like, I don't see how you can fail with doing that when you can just follow the source material. Like it literally makes no sense to me.
Like what happened with Batman versus Superman. That was guaranteed money printing power.
It was. It was.
What ruined it? They had to throw in Wonder Woman in there. Wonder Woman, Doomsday. There was no reason to throw them in. There's absolutely positively no reason to throw Wonder Woman or Doomsday in. The peak fight should have been. It should have been the world's finest. It should have been Batman and Superman fight. They figure out something's wrong. They work together. They go after Lex Luthor, and you could have you could use the Joker for that. The Joker and Batman, the Joker and Lex Luthor, just like they did in the cartoon show, the Joker and Lex Luthor starting to work together. And then all of a sudden, Joker double crosses Lex Luthor. Batman figures it out. Superman's like, "Hey, something's going wrong," and they both go, "Okay, we need to work together. You're not a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. Let's go do what we need to do to protect the world." Could have been as simple as that, and it would have made printed money, no problem. You could have kept your storyline, the DCEU could have kept going, and then you could have introduced Wonder Woman and all that other crap. But
I would actually argue that a little bit. I think that wasn't the main issue. The main issue was actually the choreographed fight. It was so underwhelming, like the fight between Batman and Superman. It was so underwhelming how they did it. Like I felt like Batman and Superman should have been like fucking boxing each other. But 75% of the fight was dialogue. They were just he was basically just talking shit to Superman, and that was it. Like
that's the only thing you could do. You have to wait till the kryptonite takes effect.
I guess so, or you could just be whooping his ass while it's taking his effect. That's what Batman does anyway. But like, I think that I would have to go back and watch the fight. I bet you there wasn't even 20 punches thrown between the fight between Superman and Batman. There was not 20 punches thrown. That should have been the fight of the decade, and that choreographed fight was horrible. It was not good. It was not good at all. And so, yeah, I mean, you're right. That should have printed insane money, and they dropped the fucking ball with it. I don't understand these superhero directors. I don't understand it. I really don't. They could hand the torch to any comic fan, and they probably could have done 10 times better than what they did. I don't understand it, Dex. I just don't, man.
As a huge Superman fan, I can promise you this much: they, the I'll say this for DC. Regrettably, as much as I love the movies, they don't have storylines that are built for movies. They have storylines that are built for TV shows. That's why, like, they don't have big feet moments. It's normally like a drawn out story to where there's twists and turns. And think about it. Even when they did the old cartoon movies, it'd be 3 or 4. It'd be like 2 or 3 hours long, spread out over like 2 days, over a weekend. Like you get part one, part two, and it'd be this long, drawn out storyline. Then after the storyline's done, their worlds stay connected, which they kind of set them up for. Which I think personally, this is me. Instead of Batman versus Superman, what they should have did was, which they set up for, they should have let the Flashpoint paradox be the movie. Flashpoint should have been the movie. Instead of Batman versus, it should have been both Barrys run. Barry runs through time, saves his mom. But the Barry, like what they did with was that the Flash movie? I think it was the Flash movie. With the Flash movie, instead of him meeting another version of himself that looked like him, he should have met Grant Gustin. That should have been the Flash he ran into. Mom's still alive. Mom's still alive, and he looked at, well, you don't look the same. How come you don't look the same? Well, it's different universes, different things happen. And instead of him seeing Batman, he sees Green Arrow, because that's the change you did when you saved your mom. And then, like you said, all those, instead, like you said, instead of Superman, you got Supergirl. Everything changed, but now you're instituting the Arrowverse, crossing over with the DCEU, and now everything's flip-flopping and trying to get that in. That would have been more interesting. And then you could have carried over to where now there's a Earth Prime of the multiverse keeps going, and now you branch into, now you have your Superman, now you have your movieverse that's way more drawn out and broad out. Now you don't have to do a bunch of introduction movies. You have one movie that's introduced them all, and they all know each other. And you have your TV shows that can keep going. And now, from here, now you can make a Batman TV show instead of Batwoman. That was dumb. You can make a... I don't understand it. You still use Bruce anyway. It was dumb. Now you can have a Wonder Woman show. You can have all these other mainstream shows that you've been wanting to do instead of doing that dumb rule. Both DC and Marvel have that dumb rule. If there's a movie coming out with it, they're not going to do the TV show. Might as well do the TV show to tie into the movie. But I digress. That is me. But
so, is there any news at all, or about the comic thing that you brought up, or was that something just randomly that you just thought of?
I was doing the vote for the Crunchyroll Awards, and as I'm voting, I'm like, there is no like main televised comic book awards. Like we have game, like imagine the Wolverine game being introduced during the comic book awards. It says the gaming awards, the comic book awards. Imagine the trailer for Avengers Doomsday during the comic book awards. And you know when you can do the comic book awards? Comic-Con weekend.
Yeah,
Imagine
that makes
Comic-Con
sense.
weekend, and on the last day of Comic-Con weekend, it's the comic book awards. All the actors who've been flooding here to do the meet and greets and panels, their last day, now they're there for the awards. With the people who've been doing the music for the TV shows and the movies and all of that. And then you can hand out special awards for like people who've done like Kevin Conroy could have got his comic lifetime achievement award, or Prince could have got a lifetime music award for doing the Bat Dance, and Adam West could have got something. Like, you honor everyone, like.
Yeah, you cooking with gas. I'm not gonna lie, you cooking with gas.
Because I mean, what awards are you gonna get for best actor in a comic series, comic TV show? You're not gonna get an Oscar. You're really not gonna get an Emmy for it, depending most of the time. Because they don't respect it.
Right.
So imagine the comic book awards. Hey, you were the best comic. You best representation of a comic. I mean, we all know if it would have came out way back in the day, Tom Welling would have been acing that almost every year. But
oh yeah, almost every single year. You're right.
It'd been game over. It'd been game. He would have won that every year.
Yeah, he would have.
I mean, and then same thing. You have your best live action actors, and then your best voice actors.
Okay. And then Invincible probably could have been in there too.
Invincible was a comic. You could have thrown him in there. Best animated TV show. Best live action TV show. Best live action movie. Best live action TV show. That would have brought the competition between Marvel and DC and Dark Horse and all these other ones to a head. To where, let's say, I hate to say it the way the Grammys do it, it's dumb because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't really work that way. But we don't know, let's be honest, no one really looks up comic sales. But if the storyline was interesting, and let's say one year Spawn had a better storyline than any DC or Marvel one, everybody, oh yeah, they still making Spawn? Let's check that out. Or, what's a good one that you probably don't know about?
Also, indie. Like the best indie comic or something like
I
that.
cannot remember the name of this one indie comic I used to read. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. And it was some guy put me onto him. Another version of the Avengers that it was way more brutal. I can't remember the freaking name of them. Like something like that, an indie comic that comes up, best indie comic. And 9 times out of 10, if when the awards do well and enough people hear about it, you get a TV show out of it. You get a movie deal. You get an animated show out of it. Or, like you said, we get our streaming service, and now the streaming service can give us little-known indie one-offs.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun to watch. And even attend. That would be a fun thing to attend to, too.
Like, that's be perfect. It would be perfect.
Listen, we're going to end up being 80 years old when they finally decide to do something like that.
Because you got to think. Like I said, like I told you before, when it comes the Japanese, even the Asian side, even on the Korean and Vietnamese and all that, they're willing to work together in the same media, even if they call it different names, like instead of manga, it's a manhwa and all that. But they still come together under Crunchyroll and go, okay, well, who is the best of the best of all of them? Because people don't even realize, technically speaking, even though it's an anime, it's a Korean anime. It's not Japanese. Solo Leveling's Korean. It's not Japanese. But the Japanese don't care. Why? Because, okay, they're the best of the best right now. We've been whooping their ass for the past 30, 40 years. Let them step their game up. And while we're doing on that, we make something more. We just make something that beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Americans need to be the same way. We need to step our game up.
No, you're right. You're not lying about that.
Let's be honest for a second. If we could, hot take, if we got more shows, even with the art style, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, anime be hurting right now.
Speaking of, have you seen the new movie?
No, I have not seen the new movie that got leaked.
Yeah, but I watched some scenes from that shit, bro. Oh my god, bro! Some of these fight scenes look so damn hype. They look so good. I can't wait.
I don't want to spoil it for myself. I kind of want to wait till it's finished and it comes out. I want to support the right, because we've been begging for this. So we can't beg for it, and then when the loophole come out, we take it, and now we don't want to give it no money when it come out because we've seen it, which is what's gonna happen, and then we'll never get it again.
Yeah, you're right.
That's exactly what's gonna happen, and people don't realize that. Like, if you watch it now, you're not gonna watch it when it comes out, and if you don't watch it when it comes out and give it and pay for it and give it a little bit of money, not all the money, but just a little bit of money. I I guarantee we won't get another one because it didn't make any money. Just like that disgraceful one. M. Night Shyamalan shouldn't have touched my damn that racist ass movie. Dumbass.
What was it?
That Last Airbender.
Oh, you talking about the live action?
Yeah, don't that trashy ass dumbass.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It had a lot of potential too, but it was bad. Damn shame.
It
But that's still not as bad as the live action Dragon Ball movie, which is legitimately one of the
God.
worst one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. That was worse than the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail.
Yeah, I think it's called the Holy Grail. Yeah, it's like a comedy where like this dude gets like there's a scene where this dude gets his arm and leg cut off, and and like it's ketchup squirting out. So it's not like he's bleeding. It's like literally just squirting out a straight stream out of his leg and arm nub, and it's really fucking stupid. It's really dumb. I'll have to send you like a scene from it. But I think it's
That
called the Holy
sounds
Grail.
dumb. I mean, I shouldn't want to see something terrible, but I'll watch it.
It's pretty bad, but it's funny, kind of bad.
It's
Kind of
funny.
like kind of like Robin Hood,
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights. Yes,
Men-
that
Men
should
in
be
Tights.
so funny.
Tights. Oh my god, I love that show.
That's a good one though. I love Men in Tights, but it's so dumb. It is so stupid. They use coconuts to make it sound like they're riding a horse.
Yes.
That shit's so funny.
I mean, that is what he. That's my boy. That's oh god. What is that director's name? Not Monty Oum. I think that was a Monty Python film. Men in Tights?
Yeah,
That's Monty
yeah, I
Python.
think so. That's another prompt for a different day. Is some of the best worst movies
That's
that
a
we
good
can
one.
think of,
That's a good one. Best worst movies. I like that.
because that would have to be one of them.
Top tier. Best parody. That was one of the best parodies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Especially when you randomly got Dave Chappelle in it.
yeah.
Do you know Praying Mantis? Like what? Random? Y'all randomly just doing Asian kung fu over here? What the hell?
Yeah.
Not you. I am a sneeze. I'm like, wow. I was when I first saw it, when it first dawned on me that we don't have our own, I was like, that's a kill. Like, and then I thought that's when it spiraled. Like, we don't even have our own streaming platform. Like,
Yeah,
like,
that is crazy.
well, I mean,
But I guess Disney kind of holds the reign to that.
Disney and WB, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure.
WB, nobody watches WB for real. Does WB have its own streaming service?
Yes, it does. HBO Max. That's WB. That's Warner Brothers.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, people watch it.
I would still say they don't hold nothing to Disney.
Rick and Morty, the DC Universe, Food Network, Travel Channel. What else is on there? The HBO movies. Harry Potter's on there.
Oh, I thought we were talking about just superhero stuff. I didn't know you were talking about like other categories. With other categories.
What I'm saying, but those two streaming services control the big two. If we had one streaming service that had 80% of all comic media, like Crunchyroll, it would work. It would work. Because you could have, like, I don't know, the American Comics Network, whatever you want to call it, for all the mainstream comics, and then another version like High Dive for, like, all your indie comic stuff, all your Dark Horse, your, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, think about it. Imagine if for a spin-off streaming service to that, any DC and Marvel could have their own, but like for the indies or even the ones that technically are indie, but are put under the big ones, are get their own, like Static Shock. DC does not own
Yeah.
Static Shock. They license them bad boys.
Yeah.
Same Disney. Give me an icon TV show.
And something else that'd be kind of cool is maybe if they found a way to like connect maybe like comic based, like superhero comic based podcasts to the streaming service, because even Netflix has started rolling out podcasts now as it has started getting more and more popular. And so it would be kind of cool to be able to find uh, comic book based podcast and stuff like that. I think that would also be kind of like a cool little page that they could have as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Maybe.
said, maybe. I mean, but like I said, everyone's trying to do something. I think the only reason, let's be honest, the main reason why Netflix and all these other streaming channels, like, what's the name of them? Netflix, Crunchyroll, High Dive, Paramount Plus, all these other places are buying up all these other cartoons and animes because HBO and Warner Brothers and Disney won't spread it out to like or consolidate it to something else so where everybody can get. So everyone's trying to like, well, we can't exactly do what they're doing, but we can create. So we gotta. So everyone's locked in on Disney because of Marvel and all this other stuff. So we gotta. So we gotta switch it over and just push out anime, and that's what's happening. They're pushing out anime. I
What
mean,
if they did something like a collaboration with like Crunchyroll? Do you think that would work? Because that would bring in a lot of revenue on both parts. Like do like a super subscription service to where you had anime and you had comic stuff, and they did a collaboration. Because those kind of go, in a way they go hand to hand, right? So like you most anime fans are also a fan of comic stuff, and I feel like most comic fans are
mm-hmm.
also a fan of anime stuff, and so it would be the best of both worlds as far as those two things goes. And so most people would probably, to be able to get all that stuff in one, most people would probably pay like $25 a month for all that shit. To be able to watch as much comic book stuff as you wanted to be able to, you know what I'm saying, watch as much anime as you wanted to, all this type of other stuff all in one space. And I feel like Crunchyroll is kind of struggling to keep its subscription viewers, whatever, payers up, just because Netflix has started to enter the field of hosting anime TV shows and stuff like that. And then also there's a bunch of people that just pirate that shit. But this would also bring a lot of people in from the comic book side as well. So that
Well,
would grow
what
both
happened with
parties.
Crunchyroll is this, and I'm starting to notice is one, the season-based anime is starting to hit hard. Starting to hit them hard, because we're used to you're just getting episodes nonstop. Even some of the newer fans are used to that, and now with all these companies taking 6, 7 months to push out content, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna move on to the next one, and then here's what's hurting anime, and I love it to death, but here's what's hurting them. A lot of anime that they're creating that people have cult love for it, or got into it. You only get 1 or 2 seasons, and then you never hear from it again. So like, and some of them are like the new age, like I got into Gate, really great premise, loved it, and then they just didn't do a season 2 for like, I think they're just now coming out with a season 2. They're about to come out with a season 2. Or how a realistic hero saved the world. Like they have these shows that like very interesting premise, really entertaining, great animation. You love it, and then it goes, they have 1 season and they haven't made a new one in like 10 years. And it's like, oh, well, but it's been on Crunchyroll since its inception, and it had a huge following, and no one wants to pick it back up because they're trying to crank out before they crank out more One Piece or more Naruto or more this or more the instant gratification. I mean, look at it now. We still ain't got more. We barely getting Blood War arc on a decent time frame.
Yeah.
They're about to redo Super again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're not gonna get Moro till 2028.
Damn. What the hell?
They're redoing all of it
Why?
again. I don't
Why?
know. Maybe they're trying to stick close to the manga this time. I don't know.
But the tournament arc was a hit. Okay, well,
Because I
people just
thought they
got
were
money.
just gonna
People just
continue.
got money to play with.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they gave us trash ass Daima.
They did.
I Everyone thought when you heard new Dragon Ball Z series, we thought, oh, they're gonna finish up and now we're gonna go into the Granola arc. Nope, they gave us Daima. They got three arcs they can
Okay.
use. Two arcs, two arcs into three arcs they could have just kept going with. Nope, we're just gonna redo the whole thing.
That's so stupid. People, nobody's even asking for that. Nobody's asking for it.
I told you that's where anime is getting hurting themselves. They're redoing the same thing. They're doing
Bro,
what Americans are. They're revamping the same thing over and over again. And
we want
then
Black Frieza.
we've been waiting for Black
That's what we
Frieza
want.
forever.
Yes, that's what we want. We want more Black Frieza. We want Moro. We want Gas. We want all them.
You want to see Beast Gohan in action? I mean, think they released Gohan. We finally get to see a Beast Gohan versus Ultra Instinct Goku. There's a Beast Gohan versus Broly. You had that fight in the manga. We still ain't got it for an anime, and that's been
You see,
what
in,
a
in
year
the
out?
in the in the instance of like something like One Piece, to where you have the older animation, and you just want to bring in a new animation style, or whatever, that makes sense. But Super was not that long ago. Yeah, the animation was a little bit trash, but it wasn't so trash to where you still could not enjoy the anime. The Tournament of Power broke the internet. So
Multiple
it was
times.
yeah, it was a successful series, but I don't know. I don't know. People just be doing shit.
I mean, even stuff that people are asking for more of, they won't. How Yu Yu Hakusho still has a loyal, ever-growing following. Still won't remaster it. Still won't reboot it. Just leave it sitting there. What else? They have
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. They have the Zoids they've been asking for, but we keep getting Gundam over and over again, and we can tell y'all running out of ideas.
Hmm.
And even for Gundam, they're like, okay, well, this is what kills me. For Gundam, they even told them, give us Gundam Weeby. I know I've even pushed out in their chats. Gundam. The only thing you have to do is take Gundam Wing, you ain't gotta reboot it. Take the same exact storyline, update the animation to give us some new graphics. That's all you gotta do. The original voice actors are all down for it. Give us that one. You will break the internet again. Update it. Imagine old Gundam Wing, but with new graphics. You kill it.
So people just hear these ideas and then just like, nah, we good. We don't want to print money. We rather just, I don't know, bro. People,
They think they want to predict what the casual fan will like. That's what they want to do. They want to tell the casual fan what you'll like. And even instead of going to, I forgot what video I saw on this. It was about gaming, but they said it applied to anime and comics too. The problem is most companies are now trying to bring in casual people instead of just targeting their hardcore fans. Because 9 times out of 10, if you target your hardcore fans, the casual people are going to come in anyway. But the problem is you're targeting casual people, and then over time, for the people who are going to continually spend money over the long run, your hardcore fans, they fall off. So now instead of having a guaranteed investment over the next few years, you get like a big Battlefield. You got a big bump in the beginning, but your hardcore fans are like, dude, it's kind of trash, bro. It's like it was cool at first, but now it's like, ugh. So then it went back down. It went from being realistic to meta. That's why no one likes it, because everything's turning into meta for the casual fan, or for the person or for everyone who's trying to be an influencer, or all this other crap. Oh, we need more influencers. No, you don't. Just create the game, create the show.
It's the same thing with video games too.
Oof, video games are worse, way worse.
Like 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 I feel like Battlefield finally got to the point to where they started listening to their fans, and then you see the success of Battlefield 6. Like we want boots on the ground, we want modern day, we don't want all this high techy shit. We don't want World War One or World War Two. We don't want, even though Battlefield One was excellent, people love that game. But I feel like you should only bring stuff like that. You shouldn't overdo it, and then you should only bring something like that out like every like 5 or 6 years or something like that, right? When they finally started to listen to the fans about what we wanted in warfare, they came out with Battlefield 6. They listened to the fans exactly, and then even going past that, some fans have also said, "Hey, we would love to have some naval warfare." Guess what? They're going to release naval warfare. They said by the end of the year. And so when you listen to the fans and especially the hardcore fans, you get success like Battlefield 6. It's not hard. It's not hard.
The biggest thing for the gaming community right now that's hurting them is the two big things that's been a problem for years, and why the gaming community has not, because it happens on the anime side too, the anime gaming community, is everyone wants to do DLCs and microtransactions.
Stupid.
Instead of releasing a full game and maybe do one or two DLCs, or saving it for the next game, no, we're gonna sell you this new skin. Are people gonna buy it? Of course. There's some people who are just gonna want to buy it because little kid wants to spend mommy's money. But most people are gonna be like, dude, I'm not gonna pay you another $30 for a character that I was waiting to play in the beginning. Look, prime example, Jump Force.
That was a fun game at first.
And then even their create a character, which was a big selling point. Even I bought it for that. I'm like, I can create a character, but you can't even earn like a sword you would want. There's not different sword styles, or there's not different fighting styles. You can't, like, you can learn the Kamehameha way, but you can't, like, you can only do it a certain way. You can't look. It was so
Surface level.
It was so surface level that it was like.
Yeah.
Even the characters from certain, like, they even put characters you didn't care about in it, like, why would I want to play this character? You gave us 7, 8 characters, One Piece, and 2, 3 from freaking Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yep.
Or you gave us a bunch from JoJo's and not that many from Dragon Ball Z. Or, like, I say it should have been 4 from just a bunch of different anime. Like the original Jump Force. The original Jump Force, like I showed you, do that game. Just do that game. But on this console or on the PC, you will print money.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the one person to be smart enough to make Mugen for the PS5. Ever heard of that one? You gotta play as an anime fan. It's a game called Mugen. It's a free open source game. So this game is, how can I say it? The sprites, the game sprites I showed you, they took different game sprites, and some people create them. You can create them, and they pull characters from all over the anime-verse. So you can do, I don't know, a Baryon mode Naruto that's not in the games with all of his techniques versus a Sukuna. It's all crossed over. Every anime character's crossed over.
And it's called what?
Mugen, Mugen. It is. If you find the right version, it's so much fun. I'll have to send you a video on some. I think Afro Senju has a couple videos where he shows, like, they get in. They have everybody. Lolly Dotty everybody. It's, if they did that game. If they did that game for the PS5, the money would print itself. For the PS5 and the money would print itself.
I'll definitely have to look that up because I never heard of it.
It's. I'll have to find one. It'll print itself too. Oh man, I'm gonna have to watch some videos on that later. I used to play it, but I haven't played it since college, really, when I was actually studying for game programming. It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Dude, you can have like Sonic versus the Flash. Like it's every character in fiction made with sprites, and some of the sprites are high end, some of them a little. It depends on which one you get, and it will be crazy. It'll be
Okay.
crazy. Oh man. So, yeah, I say, but we got at least 10 more minutes before we hit that hour and a half. Have you thought any good verses? Because I think I got one for you.
Any good who?
Versus battles.
Oh, you talking about just off the dome or?
Off the dome, because I think I got one that'll make you question yourself.
Any good one? I would say you go ahead and come up with yours because I doubt we'll have time to do two of them. I don't know. I don't know how long you want this episode to be. But you can come up with yours, and then
Oh, I
I
got one.
can.
I got one.
Okay, well, you go ahead, and then if we have time, we can. I'm sure I'll think of
Without
something.
heat vision, he cannot use heat vision. Homelander versus Throg
Who's Throg?
from Invincible.
Oh, Thrag.
Yeah.
Thrag is whooping his ass, boy.
I don't know about that.
Thrag, bro. Listen, Thrag punched Omni Man so hard. Wait. Thrag is the evil dude, right?
Yes.
The one that everybody's fighting. Thrag punched Omni Man so hard that it turned him into a missile. He could not stop. He couldn't stop himself for how long? For like, I mean, in our time, it was like, hold on. So how far is the ground? Let's say that is Earth. I know it's not actually Earth. How many miles is it from the ground of Earth to get into space? Hold on. Alexa, how many miles does it take to get to space?
It takes about 62 miles to reach space, which is
Okay. So she said 62 miles. He reached space in a matter of a couple of seconds. Think about that. From a punch. You know bro, how did Omni Man, he has to be the most resilient person because his head should have came off. It should have came off. Like Thrag just bitch slapped Invincible's brother, Mark's brother. I forget his name. And then tore off his jaw. Just slapped him. That was it.
Well, you gotta think. Oliver, everyone like said, but you gotta think. Unlike Invincible and Omni Man, Oliver never really went through near-death battles like they did. Because remember, they kind of got like the
Against
same
Conquest?
That's one. Now imagine how many has Mark been through compared to Oliver.
Well, also Mark went through the that dragon thing,
Right.
that big like
So
worm
Oliver's
thing.
been through maybe three. Mark and Omni Man have been through what? A lot. They've been near death a lot. Especially
I
Mark.
know, but yeah, but at the same time, bro, like did you see Thrag take damage even once?
No.
So can he be damaged?
Oh,
Can he?
He can be damaged.
By what? By what? Like it would have to take a special like that laser beam weapon. It would have to be something. I haven't read the comics, so you ain't got to spoil me. You ain't got to spoil me. But I'm just saying, it can't be just from regular ass strength. It can't be. It can't.
Homelander doesn't have regular Asher. Let's be honest.
He doesn't have more strength than somebody like Mark or Omni Man.
We don't know who's other than his dad, maybe. Who's like we've seen Homelander really turn up on.
First of all, I'm not a big fan of the boys. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the boys are kind of trash. Um, Honestly, it is kind of trash. I watched, I think, close to the entire first season, and it bored me to death. And so I don't know all of Homelander's feats. You'll have to name me his biggest feat that is in the series so far. That way I can kind of get an idea of scaling wise. What is his biggest feat that does not involve laser vision?
Mm, his I know how fast he is because he can get to space about that same time period. Strength.
Okay, so he's been up to space.
Yeah, he can fly to space. I don't want to say he's basically Superman. What's the? Because I want to say this was his feat, but I don't want to be wrong. I want to say this was his, but I don't want to be wrong. So.
But Thrag is dangerous, dude. He's dangerous. It was 3 other Viltrumites fighting against him at one time. 4 of them. It was 4 Viltrumites fighting him at one time, and he did not take no damage. Think about that shit, bro. No damage.
So from what we've seen so far, because we haven't seen him like go up against somebody to where he had to like strain himself, like easily picked up a jet, like a full size jet, one hand and just tossed it like it was nothing. Like that's the problem with his world is he doesn't have a lot of people on his level. So we don't know what strength he really like. We haven't seen him fight Superman. We haven't seen like his dad. I'm about to call him Captain America. His dad is the only one who's like really giving him a go. But you can't even say that because it wasn't a blow for blow fight. So and they weren't really going at it. It wasn't anything like that. Like. So we know he has this untapped potential of strength, but you've never seen him have to use it because there's no one out there who makes him use it.
Yeah.
Rag, we've seen him cut loose so far because I ain't gonna lie, that demon impact frame was kind of crazy.
That which part?
The demon impact frame when Mark was strolling up to punch him, and the impact frame popped up when he was like a demon. I'm like, ooh.
I honestly don't remember that.
Ooh, dude. Hold on.
I just watched that episode, but I don't remember that one frame.
It was an impact frame. And
But also think about it. Thrag created basically a sonic boom just from a punch in space.
Yeah. So
Now I ain't no scientist.
You'll see this impact frame right when Invincible hits him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Invincible walks up to punch him, and he punches him in the head, and the impact frame pops up, and that face pops up after Mark makes contact, and bro just stands there like, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, he was not impressed with none of these fighters. None of them. He could have taken every single person that was in space, even his own Viltrumite soldiers. He could have taken everybody at one time and still won. I truly believe that.
So Mark hits him, and during that impact frame, that happens.
Oh, I do remember that.
A demon impact frame from him getting hit, like, really?
I don't know.
I've never seen Homelander like turn up.
Maybe that's part of the issue. But I'm just saying, from what I saw out of Thrag this last episode, dude's an issue. He is a threat to the universe, not just human society. He is a threat to the universe.
I ain't gonna lie, that uppercut,
it was crazy. I don't know how his head didn't come off.
Hey, I ain't seen uppercuts that clean since anime, because that was the best interpretation of like a Shoryuken I've ever seen in my life. The man cocked back, and the wind circled around his hand and his arm, and he uppercutted the man. The wind drew his opponent to him.
Yeah, universal pool.
Then uppercutted the man. I'm like, is he gonna get out a special attack from that? Like, because that should have been like I'm waiting for a special attack to get yelled out.
That was a regular Monday punch. That's what it was. There was nothing special to him.
He was giving him think hands wise, Homelander ain't gonna take that. But I haven't seen him turn up with his strength. That's the problem. I don't know how strong. That's what I'm like. With heat vision, he'd probably win. But even with the heat vision, it's like you gotta land that.
I don't know if it would because, and spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't read the comics, I haven't read the comics, but I saw a panel. Does he not fight in the sun against Mark?
I believe he does. I believe he does.
So how high is his heat vision? If the sun doesn't even damage him, because how high is the sun? The sun is stupid hot.
That's what I'm saying. Like that'd be like I would love to see it. I would love. Death Battle, if you watching, I want to see this. I have a feeling you're gonna probably go for freaking Thrag anyway because he's that guy. But still,
He is.
But still, you gotta give us something because it's the only other interesting like fight that I've even come close to thinking of was because we saw it a lot is what the fuck is his name? No Powers. And I'm like, I gotta say No Powers, otherwise they don't. Oh, you instantly kill. I want to see Gin from God of High School versus, I'm gonna say Goku. I would love a No Power straight hand to hand fight. Both of them don't have powers.
Maybe. That might be okay.
You
might be
can't
okay.
tell who win because it's both of them are martial arts. You can't say, oh, Goku's been training martial arts. Dude's been training martial arts all his life too.
Yeah.
You can't say he ain't. You can't say that boy ain't got hands. He proved that he beat a man with only his feet.
Yeah, I guess.
He beat a man with only his feet.
I think somebody that's underrated in hand-to-hands as far as just OP characters has to be Yujiro. Especially after this last season. We found out that... Oh, okay. I ain't gonna say nothing there. But we find out something crazy about Yujiro. It's a good-ass fucking season, but this gives Ty, because I know that Ty is gonna be having... I think he has him in their next versus battle thing that they're doing in their podcast. I think he has Yujiro. And just because of this feat... I don't think he loses against anybody else that he's gonna fight against. Just because of this one feat that just came out.
All right, I'm going to finish watching that probably tonight, if not tomorrow.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, I ain't finna say nothing, but you'll know exactly what feat I'm talking about whenever it happens.
I'm not saying I haven't stopped watching it because what's his name was kind of petty for breaking out of prison the way he did. That was petty.
You ain't talking about Biscuit Olivia.
No, you said, because you're talking about Baki, right?
Mm.
How Baki broke out of prison? Just because he wanted to get some fresh air?
You're talking about a while ago.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm talking about a while ago. The most recent, what was the episode I just finished watching? I mean, he was a demon for what he did to that MMA fighter. That was petty.
You talking about Muhammad Ali Jr. Or no, you talking about Shunsei.
Yeah.
You talking where you punched him? He the long hair like the jungle like Tarzan looking dude.
When he grabbed him, he's fighting the MMA guy, and he only shook him and knocked him down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that shit. I was like, how do you knock somebody out by just shaking them?
He was petty.
That's a whole feat